Good. Happy Monday morning, August 2nd, 2021. I'm Riley King. Welcome to this Monday morning edition of The Morning Show with Riley King. It's time to rise and shine, get this Monday off to a good start. So, grab a good cup of coffee, sit back, relax, and enjoy this Monday morning edition of The Morning Show with Riley King, where we have a little bit of everything for you in this program. So, let's get started. First step, COVID-19 cases fueled by Delta variant continue to rise. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
Introducing Solimar, a new digital advertising experience from the Trade Desk, backed by over a decade of innovation and a singular vision. Solimar illuminates the full potential of your digital advertising. Experience Solimar for yourself at thetradedesk.com.
We begin tonight with the alarming rise in infections fueled by the highly contagious Delta variant and the sobering words from Dr. Fauci warning today things are going to get worse. Officials are worried about scenes like these in Chicago. The 4-day Lollapalooza music festival bringing huge crowds. Nationwide hospital admissions surging to more than 6,000 a day. And for the first time since February, the country surpassing 100,000 new cases in a single day. Just look at this graph. The case numbers in the U.S. soaring in the past 6 weeks. Louisiana has the highest case rate in the country. New Orleans unable to keep up with 911 calls. ABC's Janae Norman is there and leads us off tonight.
Tonight, as the Lollapalooza Festival in Chicago comes to a close, concern growing about the potential surge of the Delta variant. Officials saying that 90% of the attendees were vaccinated and that time will tell of any possible COVID spread.
Obviously, we'll know a little bit more in a week to 10 days, but we have to keep pushing the fact that the unvaccinated are the people that are at risk.
This weekend marking a 6-week steady rise in COVID cases across the country. More than 76% of U.S. counties now reporting high or substantial transmission rates. Hospital admissions surging to more than 6,000 a day, the highest number of patients since February. Dr. Anthony Fauci today warning that things will get worse.
We're looking to some pain and suffering in the future because we're seeing the cases go up, which is the reason why we keep saying over and over again, the solution to this is get vaccinated, and this would not be happening.
An internal CDC document obtained by ABC News suggests the Delta variant is more contagious than the common cold. While a person with the common cold on average infects 2 to 3 people, the average person infected with the Delta variant could be expected to infect as many as 5 to 9 people. In Austin, Texas, there were only 7 ICU beds available for a population of over 2.3 million people.
Those people who are unvaccinated, they're being overwhelmed by this and having to go into our ICUs.
In Nebraska, Shelley Wachter was unvaccinated when she was diagnosed with COVID-19. She's now speaking out from her hospital bed.
I could have saved myself and my family so much by having gotten the immunization.
And Louisiana now seeing the highest case rate in the country. The emergency system in New Orleans so overwhelmed they're running out of capacity to answer 911 calls.
It's tough right now because several other communities across Louisiana and across the state are having the same strain locally.
And there's concern about the threat to children, most of them not yet eligible for the vaccine. The Children's Hospital of New Orleans now treating 10 kids with COVID, 3 of them in intensive care.
All we have to do to protect our children is wear a mask and get a vaccine. We do so many more things to protect our children. This is easy. This is a no-brainer.
Increasing concern about the vulnerability of our children. Janae Norman joins us now from New Orleans. And Janae, what are you hearing from officials on the ground as cases continue to climb there in Louisiana?
Well, Lindsay, the number of people here in Louisiana getting their first dose of the vaccine has tripled in the last 3 weeks. You see, I just spoke there to the director of the New Orleans Health Department, who says that's good, but not good enough. Hospitals here are inundated, and the average number of hospital admissions has gone up by nearly 500% in the last month. Lindsay?
Hospitals overwhelmed once again. Janae, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Team USA brings home more hardware from Tokyo. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
Cue Rachel Ray.
Hey, friends. Today we're whipping up some delicious recipes. So, who's hungry?
Pets love Rachel Ray Nutrish and its kitchen-inspired recipes with real meat, poultry, or fish. Rachel Ray Nutrish. Real recipes, real ingredients, real good.
Now to the Olympics and triumph for Team USA. Caleb Dressel sprinting his way to 2 more golds in the pool. And a surprise silver for Michaela Skinner on the vault, stepping in for Simone Biles. Biles has one more chance for a medal in these games. Will she return to the competition? ABC's James Longman is in Tokyo again for us tonight, tracking it all.
Tonight, Simone Biles has just one more shot at a medal in Tokyo. After withdrawing from the floor exercise, USA Gymnastics saying in a statement, Biles will make a decision on beam later this week, adding, either way, we're all behind you, Simone. The gold medal favourite's decision to pull out of the individual vault opened the door for teammate Michaela Skinner. The 24-year-old on the verge of retirement, she took home a surprise silver.
This has seriously been such an honour to be able to step in for Simone and be able to win this medal.
An all-round gold medalist, Sunny Lee, had to settle for bronze in the uneven bars after a shaky routine. But Team USA finishing off strong in the poll, with Caleb Dressel adding to his medal count.
And Caleb Dressel will get it done again.
His 50-metre free time of 21:07 is an Olympic record, and he adds another world record with the US gold by 100 medley relay. Dressel is only the 5th American to win 5 gold medals in one Games, joining the ranks of Olympic legends Michael Phelps and Mark Spitz.
Your whole life boils down to a moment that could take 20, 40 seconds. How crazy is that?
The swimming events may be over, but the drama around the pool is building, with another American raising allegations of doping in these games.
There were, I'm sure, a lot of people from certain countries competing this week that probably shouldn't have been here.
Lily King, speaking out after her teammate Ryan Murphy suggested the sport wasn't clean. The backstroke star lost his Olympic titles to a rival from the Russian Olympic Committee.
Relov is going to go to the wall and win another gold. Murphy with a silver.
Evgeny Relov has adamantly denied doping, and Murphy made it clear he wasn't specifically accusing him.
I think the world needs to do better in terms of fighting doping. I never mentioned a specific athlete. I never mentioned a specific country.
Russian athletes are banned from competing under their own flag after a massive state-sponsored doping program was discovered after the 2014 Sochi Games. But there's been criticism of testing oversight. Seb Coe, a 4-time Olympic medalist himself, is the president of World Athletics, which controls all track and field athletes. Should Russia be here?
It's slightly different in my sport. We have been very tough about their presence here.
But true sportsmanship still shining at these games. American Isaiah Jewett tumbling to the ground after Botswana's Nigel Amos accidentally tripped him in the 800-metre heat. Jewett helping Amos up, putting his arm around him, and the two finishing the race together.
Quite an act of sportsmanship there. James joins us now. James, I know you're tracking another headline out of Tokyo about an alleged attempt by Belarus to forcibly return one of their athletes to the country. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, Lindsay, Kristina Simonovskaya says that she was taken to the airport against her will by Belarusian officials here who said that she had criticized Belarus on social media. It's understood she is still at the airport now, being looked after by Tokyo 2020 officials. She could apply for asylum, but this is a developing story. Lindsay?
And we know you'll stay on top of it, James. Thanks so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. New York City Mass Shooting called brazen coordinated attack. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
Here in New York, police are calling it a brazen coordinated attack by 4 suspects who remain at large. 10 people are wounded. Authorities say most of them innocent bystanders. All are expected to survive. ABC's Trevor Ault is in New York.
Tonight, an urgent search for suspects in a New York City mass shooting that authorities say was a brazen, coordinated attack. Police releasing this surveillance video from late Saturday showing two masked men drawing their weapons, allegedly firing dozens of shots into a crowd outside a laundromat in Queens, hitting 10 people. The video then showing a second pair of men arriving on mopeds, who officials say helped the gunman flee.
We got so far 5 people shot. It looks like a moped was going eastbound.
After they fire at least 37 times that we know of, they calmly get on the back of the scooters and take off. So very brazen, to say the least.
Investigators now asking for the public's help identifying all 4 suspects. They believe the shooting is gang-related and only 3 of the victims were intended targets. The other 7 were collateral damage.
This is unacceptable in our streets of New York City, and it has to stop.
The victims in the shooting are as young as 19 and as old as 72. Thankfully, all of them are expected to survive. Lindsay?
Trevor, thanks so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking.
Okay, there you go on that video and that report. And we are going to switch gears now and let's go into weather. And here's a check of the weather across the United States for all of you for this Monday. As you can see, there's some rain/thunderstorms here. Rain and thunderstorms in this whole section here with some heavy rain and flash flooding possible. Otherwise, all of this here and all of this here is all dry with no precipitation. So good news there. And that is a look at your weather across the United States for this Monday. Happy Monday, everyone. Hopefully you all had a wonderful weekend. And we are going to switch gears now. And let's take a look at this. Coping with renewed pandemic anxiety. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News. Good morning, America.
Have a great first day, Dad.
In today's Weekend Download, advice on coping with renewed and continuing pandemic anxiety. Joining us this morning is Dr. Naomi Torres-Mackey, a psychologist at Lenox Hill Hospital. Thanks so much for being with us this morning. You know, there were hopeful signs we were getting a handle on this pandemic with cases dropping, but then the Delta variant happened. With fears, we're now heading back to square one. What does that do to our psyche?
Sure, yeah. So it can really impact our mental and emotional well-being, especially coming after a period of relative relief about the infection numbers dropping. Can really give you a sense of disappointment, can feel very frightening in a way that it certainly reminds us we're not in as much control of the pandemic as we hoped that we were. So this loss or sense of loss of control, of uncertainty, there's no normal response, although very common responses we see mentally are makes you feel paralyzed, can make you feel angry, and can certainly make you feel anxious about what's to come.
So what are the signs we or our loved ones might be suffering from this type of anxiety?
Well, I think number one, notice if feelings from last year are starting to resurface. You might be experiencing almost like a Groundhog Day experience. Certainly also look out for what we call perseverative thoughts. So thoughts that won't leave you alone and they make you feel uneasy. Also excessive worrying, difficulty sleeping, even fatigue or difficulty concentrating. Irritability is another sign. And then physical discomfort as well. So anxiety can really bring about tension, headaches, even stomach aches, elevated heart rate, shaking and sweating are all telltale signs of anxiety.
So I guess the question that a lot of people have is, what are ways that you can cope with this?
Absolutely, absolutely. I would say, first of all, focus on the why. So figure out for you what it is exactly about the uncertainty that makes you uneasy, right? So there could be a number of reasons that this uncertainty is uncomfortable, whether or not for you it's an inability to plan for the future, or maybe it's the fear itself of getting sick. But finding that underlying why for your anxiety is helpful, because usually the closer we look at the monster in the closet or things that make us anxious, the less scary they actually become. Number two, focus on the present. So the future is where uncertainty lives, but the present is certain. And because anxiety really thrives in worries about the future, for example, what will happen with this Delta variant, we can manage that anxiety by focusing on the here and now. So you can do this by practicing mindfulness, or even just grounding yourself simply by observing everything that's around you in the present moment. And then number three, focus on what you can control. So uncertainty is usually difficult because it makes you feel out of control. But if you can redirect your thoughts to the small things today that you do have control over, even if it's as simple as what you're going to order or eat for lunch, it can be easier to manage your feelings about the Delta variant and give you back that sense of certainty and control.
Such good advice this morning, Dr. Torres Mackey. Thank you so much.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our...
Okay, there you go on that video and that advice. Good advice there. We're gonna switch gears now. Let's go into some entertainment news. And in your entertainment news, Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck give major PDA in Italy. Let's take a look at that right now from Entertainment Tonight.
What time is sunset today?
Today, sunset is at 8:43 p.m.
Take me to the closest tennis court.
Make the most of your game with Google.
Jennifer packing on the PDA in Italy.
I'm excited about it.
Seriously, check out that smile on J-Lo's face. She's sitting on Ben's lap as he kisses her cheek. The rekindled couple looked oh so in love as they dined at a restaurant in Italy. Our source says they were at Lo Scoglio for 3 hours and, get this, shared 2 makeout sessions that lasted 20 minutes each.
Like, whoa!
Feels really good and it's really nice, but I'm so happy.
J-Lo has been sharing all sorts of sexy snaps from her European getaway with Ben. And Ben's BFF, Matt Damon, playfully talked about the pair at his Stillwater premiere days ago.
There's a lot going on in France right now. Did you call Ben up and say, what gives, man? Why didn't you give me an invite?
No, I think that's a private trip. I don't think I'd be invited on that one. I might be a bit of a third wheeler.
Matt also had this to say about the couple in a new interview with Jesus and Miro.
So what's it like having your boy have a relationship that's all over the news? Is that like weird?
Well, yeah, it's weird. But I have to say, the press was particularly terrible to them like 18 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So what's nice is that
they're being nice now.
They're being nice this time around.
Ben and Jen have a whole lot of history. The pair dated back in 2002 and got engaged later that year.
I think we had chemistry as actors from the first moment we started working.
They met while filming their movie, Geely.
I'm sorry. Do we know each other?
Not yet.
Of course, the pair ended up calling it quits shortly before their wedding in 2004.
It was my first adult heartbreak. We were about to get married. It didn't work out, and it was just a bad heartbreak. Just one of those breakups that really, it was like a tough one for me.
Fast forward to now, the two are very much back on. And a source recently told ET, quote, they have insane, on another level chemistry. They are both super passionate and are head over heels with each other, just like they once were.
I don't want to give it away, but it has a very good ending.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And thank you for joining us for this Monday morning edition of The Morning Show with Riley King. I hope you all have a great rest of your Monday and see you back here later on today with more news coverage. Goodbye, everyone.